Hello and welcome back to Easyweb Tutorials. We hope you've had a good week. And today, me, Klaus, and Niklas are feeling a little bit dynamic. So today we're going to go through how to create dynamic contents for our pages. And with dynamic, I mean contents where the user or the editor of the page can choose what kind of contents and components they want to use on that particular page. So, and what I'm talking about is called our flex option. So we're going to create a flex section here today. And we'll do that by jumping into the studio as usual. So we'll set it up in the studio, then we'll set up the contents, and then we'll set up the code. And here we can set up this flex section on our start view. So we'll go to our start view here in the global tab. And here we'll be creating our new flex section. We'll go down to the search button and we'll search for flex. And here we can see we get the flex section base, which we'll be using. And now we can name that our flex section just so we can remove the base. So we'll name this component flex section. And we don't actually right now need to specify a key here for the flex section because that we're going to do with the other sections which this section will contain. A lot of sections in that sentence. I'm sorry about that. So how this works is this is like a container which holds other different components, but instead of just rendering out all of these components, both in the content management part of Easyweb and on the site, it will actually give the user or the editor of the page a choice of what type of component that is in this flex section that they want to use. And here we will want to have 3 sections. So we want to be able to choose between an image or a list of links or a header and a content, some text. So we'll click the plus icon here on our flex section and we'll add the section here. And we'll actually add 3 sections here, so we can do that at once. Add one more section and we'll name that links, and then we'll have our last section which we'll call content, and then we can save our view. So now we have our 3 sections here, and in our image section we'll of course be adding an image component. And now we can specify keys on these as well, but we don't really need to, but we can do that. So we'll name it image. And on our links section here, we'll add a link component. And then we can click the little wheel here to specify an amount of input. We'll choose unlimited here, so you can add as many links as you want. And in the content section, we'll add a single line text box for header and an HTML open content for the other text. Perfect. And we'll also want to set keys to our sections here. So we'll have our image section, and we can actually name this flex image for now. So that specifies we are in our flex section, but we have the flex image part of it, and then we have the flex links part of it, and we have the flex content part of it. We'll save our view here. And we can also, I can see here that we've only named the key for our links link, but we can change it to links. It'll be a little bit more clear in the code. Perfect. And now we can use the amount of input option on our entire flex section to allow the user to be able to add as many of these as they want. So we'll do that too. And now we're completely done here in the studio. So to see how this looks, we can navigate over to our start page. So we'll go to pages and we'll go to start page. And here now we can see we have a flex sections tab here. And now we can see we actually do get the choice to add image, or we can add links, or we can add content. So if we click the image here, we can see we get one section to add an image. If we want to add links, we can do that here. We'll link to our start page, or we can link to our new articles or our articles folder. And we can add some content. And if you remember, we also set our links to be a list of links. We set the setting to an unlimited amount. So here, instead of, if we want new links to appear, instead of clicking a new links choice in the flex option here, we can just add link to the right of our links. So we can add as many links we want. We can save our page, save and publish. So now this will be content that is fetched from Easyweb to render out on the page. It will not right now render out in any particular style since we haven't created the code for it yet. But something we can do is we can actually, on the little hand here to the left, we can actually drag around our different flex sections here. And this will in fact, it will affect the way that these are rendered out on the site. So it will render out these flex sections in the order that we specify here, unless we specify something else in the code, but we're not going to do that. So here we can actually choose what order our flex sections are going to be rendered out in. So we'll want our links to be last here. Let's say that. We'll save and publish our page. And now when we've added our flex sections here, we'll go into the code. And if you've been with us the last few videos, you know that in the templates folder, we have files that correspond to different components or different sections on our site. So they will be able to be found even though they are not located in the specific module folder that we are at currently on the page. So that is also where we will put our files for our flex sections. And we can just start by creating a new file in the templates folder. We can go back to the studio just to check our keys, and we'll create a new file for our flex image section. And we'll name this with underscore as well to follow the best practice of partials. Oh, and here we can specify a section since that is what we have decided it's going to be. So we'll have a section, and then we can just create a div with some CSS classes. And here inside of our column div, we can create an EWI template tag for our key, which is image. We don't really need to specify this key, but we can do it just to be very clear what we will render out here. So that's that file done. Now we'll do the same for our flex links. So we'll create a flex links file here. We'll put this inside of a section as well. We can copy this code here and use these types of row and things. And here on our column div, we can specify the EWI list tag that will list out our different links here, since there are an unlimited amount of them. And we'll use the EWI template for, or we change it to an UL because it's a list. We'll change the, we can remove the EWI template for keys there. Here we can either specify a particular kind of element if we want to have an anchor tag or things like that, but we can also just EWI template our link here. But we're going to be wanting to use the ewe template for key and then the this symbol, since we are now in the scope of the links list. So we'll use for key $sign. Perfect. And now we only have one file left, and that is the Flex content section. So we'll also create a file for this. And that will also be in a section with a container and the row. And here in our column, we can put our header. So we'll just use the ewe for tag helper, and then we'll specify the key header, and then we'll create another row with another column where we'll put our content. And here we can use an ewe template since we have an open content component here and it's just pure HTML. This will render out as the user wants it to. Perfect. And now if we navigate over to our home view, so we'll go into in the code. We can just navigate over to our home view and we can double check that we have an ewe template here. Yes, we do. That means that the framework will automatically search for the keys that it gets from the CMS, and then it will automatically find the corresponding views. So now everything should be done to render out our new content here on our start page. So we'll test that out and reload our start page. We'll scroll down and we can see that our new content is rendered on the page. And this will now be the case for our start page where we put the Flex section or the Flex container, if you will. Now we can actually, if you watched last week's video, we can actually put the Flex container as a component to be able to use it in any view, but that will be next week's video. So stay tuned for that. We hope you have a good week and thank you for watching.